Hi guys, it's Morgan, and today I'm going to be talking about the book The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. Now, this is actually the second time I've read this book. The first time I read it, I did take notes to do a review, but then I lost the notes, so I never filmed the review, and I also never finished the rest of the trilogy. So I thought, hey, you should probably finish that trilogy. So I am. Also, if you haven't read The Darkest Minds and you don't want to be spoiled, stop watching the video now, go read the book, and then come back. Or if you don't care about being spoiled, keep watching. So here's my review of The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. It was really sad when Ruby was remembering how Grace was the first kid to die. It was especially sad because all the other kids saw it happen, and they were obviously terrified. I mean, no matter how old you are, if you saw someone die out of nowhere, you would be terrified. Ruby's reaction when she saw the boy get the PSF soldier to shoot herself in the mouth was pretty understandable. I mean, for one thing, it was terrifying, and for another, she was starting to wonder if the other kids and herself might be able to do something similar. I was really proud of Ruby when she was able to get the man in the white coat that was trying to figure out what color she was to say that she was a green, even though she knew she wasn't. I liked it when Sam stood up for Ruby when the PSF soldier was telling her that the way she tied the laces on the boots were wrong, and I understood why Ruby didn't back Sam up. She was scared. And I also felt sorry for Ruby when she made Sam forget her. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Kate, I was happy when she helped Ruby escape the camp. But I also understood why Ruby felt guilty. She was leaving all the other kids behind and didn't know what will happen to them. I thought it was really funny when Ruby popped out of the back seat of the car where Liam, Chubbs, and Zoo were. I mean, Zoo knew she was back there, but Liam and Chubbs didn't. I could understand Ruby's reaction when Liam made her drive the car while they were being chased. I mean, luckily they were okay, but Ruby's never driven a car before. Who knows what could have happened? I felt really bad for Ruby when she was telling Liam and Chubbs about the camp that she was at, and how she wasn't exactly sure how old she was, and had to have Liam confirm what year it was to realize that she was 16. It was a really good thing that Ruby and Zoo saw all the cameras that were in all the trailers, and they were able to warn Liam and Chubbs and get out of there before the risk of whoever was watching the cameras coming after them. When it looked like they were going to be taken back to the camp, I was really glad when Ruby used her powers to get the PSF soldier to cancel the backup he had called, and they were able to escape. When Ruby was in Zoo's dream and saw how Liam, Chubbs, and Zoo escaped their camp, I felt really sorry for Zoo. And I also felt sorry for Zoo when she woke up crying and Liam had to comfort her. I thought it was really cute when Ruby and Zoo were trying on all the clothes while Liam and Chubbs were talking to the boys that they had met at Walmart. The first time I read this book, when Ruby was remembering kissing her parents while they were sleeping the night before her 10th birthday, I knew immediately that when they woke up, they weren't going to remember who she was. And they did, which made reading this part a second time really hard because I already knew what was going to happen. I loved when Liam and Chubbs told Ruby that they still wanted her to stay with them even after finding out that she's an orange, and that when she overheard Chubbs saying that they should consider getting rid of her, they were talking about their car, Black Betty, and not Ruby. Since this was the second time I read this book, when they met Clancy for the first time, all I could think was how much of a jerk he ends up being. It was sad when Ruby and Liam found out that Zoo was leaving, but at the same time I am happy that she'll be with her cousin's family. Also, before she left, she gave Ruby a note that said when everything's over to come find her because she has something she wants to tell her. Which makes me really curious to find out what that is. When Clancy told Ruby that he wanted to learn about erasing people's minds and told her to think about her 10th birthday, and then took advantage of her, it made me hate him even more, if that's possible. I loved Liam even more than I already did when he found out what Clancy had done to Ruby, and he told her that he was going to find Chubbs and the three of them were leaving. But then before they could leave, they were caught by Clancy and the other kids and had to stay. I loved when Ruby finally told Liam about what she did to her parents and to Sam, and how instead of being afraid of her like she thought Liam would be, he told her that he would never forget her. I was a little annoyed with Ruby when Lizzie came to their cabin and told her that Clancy had fallen down and was shaking and bleeding and had sent Lizzie to get Ruby. I mean, Ruby even thought about how crazy Clancy had to be to think that she would just go rushing to his side after what he did to Liam. And she went anyway, and Clancy was fine. And considering what he could have done to Ruby, I was really happy when Chubbs saved her. It was really emotional when Ruby was listening to her home's voicemail and heard her mother's voice and her mother saying her parents' names and her grandmother's name, which is also Ruby, and how she was happy that the three of them were all together, even though she did close her eyes to pretend that she was still the Ruby that lived at that house. I felt really bad when Chubbs went to deliver his friend Jack's letter to his father, which is something that he really wanted to do, and then he was shot by Jack's father, and in order to save him, Ruby pushed the panic button and Kate showed up, and Liam told Kate that if she saved Chubbs, they would go with her and do what she wanted. It was really sad when Ruby and Liam looked at Chubbs' letter and saw that the page was blank and realized that he didn't write anything because he didn't think he had to. He thought he would be able to see his parents and tell them what he wanted to tell them in person. It was really sad when Ruby made Liam forget her because she wants to protect him, and then he got to leave, and Ruby stayed with Kate in the League. Thanks for watching, guys! If you read The Darkest Minds, let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Bye!